This is the kind of format where you have to be extremely prepared for the top decks, and if you're not really prepared for them, you might lose out big time. Therefore, I have prepared a list of a bunch of going first auto-win staples that if you use them and draw them, you can actually steal games like there is no tomorrow. But of course, you already know it, my man! Before this video starts, friendly reminder to smash the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That would be a very good birthday gift because, you know, it's your boy just turned 52 today. So yeah, thank you guys so much, and let's get right into it. So I'll start things off with a very classic side deck card, which is Dimension Barrier. This card being able to shut down a mechanic for a full turn is already very good, and combined with the fact that Artifact Sanctum into Scythe can also pretty much shut down your opponent's ability to summon from the extra deck, which is even better than the Barrier for a full turn is also insane. But you do run the issue of having to play a card like Artifact Scythe in order to make Sanctum better, or rather playable, which is something that isn't really a problem with D-Barrier because all you really have to do is just play 3 D-Barrier and you're good, whereas with Sanctum you have to play at least 4 cards. After that, I have a bunch of side deck cards that are pretty much Floodgate staples that people have been playing forever, and those would be Skill Drain, Rivalry of the Warlords, Goes in Match, as well as There Can Be Only One. Typically, your deck will always be able to play at least one of those floodgates while also losing to at least one other kind of floodgate. For example, if you're running a deck like Flunderies, you can play Rivalry of the Warlords because all of your monsters are Wind Beast, but you're gonna be losing out to Goes in Match and There Can Only Be One because you can only control one Wind Beast at a time. They're water and wind, so they do conflict with Goes in Match. And if you're playing Tier Elements, you can play Skill Drain because you can still use a bunch of graveyard effects and effects in the hand and still trigger that field spell to interrupt your opponent. And you can also potentially play There Can Only Be One, but you can't really play Rivalry, and sometimes maybe Goes in Match could hurt you. What I recommend you to do is to make an Excel spreadsheet of every single deck as well as their weaknesses and strengths against each floodgate, and then decide whether you want to play that floodgate or not in your deck. The usage of Excel spreadsheets also makes a lot of sense when figuring out the correct hand traps to play in your deck, and is just a good deck building tool in general. Alright, after that I have the Virus cards, which are really good, especially in Splight or deck that can use the Bisted monsters, because Gigantic Splight can have 3200 attack if you're using a Fusion or Link or whatever monster as a material, so it's very easy to have like a Dark monster with over 2500 attack, and because of that you can pretty much always use cards like Deck Devastation Virus as well as Eradicator Epidemic Virus. Deck Dev is game against Flunderies, Exorcister, and Splight, and Eradicator is very good against Runic as well as trap decks in general, or decks that actually need to play a lot of spell cards. If you don't really care too much about the graveyard, I really recommend you to play cards like Different Dimension Ground, Soul Drain, and Macrocosmos in order to punish the decks that do need it. There are also a lot of other cards that achieve pretty much the same thing as Macrocosmos, and they would be D-Shifter and D-Fisher, so also take them into consideration. Are you looking for that one card where if you draw it, your opponent immediately signs the match slip? Don't worry, I got you. Cards like Appointer of the Red Lotus, Summon Limit, Anti-Spell Fragrance, and Harpy's Feather Storm are immediately game-ending cards in general. Appointer of the Red Lotus can play around Lava Golem in Sphere mode, which I like a lot. Harpy's Feather Storm is a lingering floodgate that pretty much immediately skips your opponent's full turn, basically. And then Anti-Spell is broken, especially against Pendulum, even better than Imperial Order in that context. And for Summon Limit, well, it's Summon Limit, come on. Now, if you're playing a deck like Splight and you want more insta-win cards against a deck like Tier Elements, don't worry, I also got you. You can play cards like Ibli and then find a way to like protect it or give it to your opponent again so that even if they have an out, it's not gonna matter. Or you can play a lot of monster floodgates and summon them off of Mannequin Cat, such as End of Anubis as well as Testudo or Ratnemen. Not to mention the Thunder King Ryo is also a very good card in the mirror match, which could actually come in handy. And just because I appreciate you guys so much, I'm gonna give you even more options to secure those W's when you go first. Insta-win field spells such as Necro Valley, Secret Village of the Spellcasters, as well as Zombie World can also just make you win any game where you go first against the right kind of deck. Necro Valley against Tier Elements, Zombie World against Flunderies, and Secret Village against pretty much everyone. And Majesty Pegasus, the Draco Slayer, can search any of those field spells, so all the better for you. Oh, and by the way, as a Tier Elements player, I would never be down to play against someone who summons Dark Law off of Mass Change 2nd against me in a mirror match, because that would mean that all my cards would get banished, and I don't want that. Anyways, I have so many other fantastic options, but for me to leak the goo, I need you to smash that like button, because we need to hit 1,000 likes for part 2 of this video. And again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget again to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.